Hey y'all, how's it going? Hope everyone's doing super awesome today. Welcome to Zahatka. My name is Valentina, and today I'll be showing you a tutorial of how to make this little phone pouch bag thing that is very popular right now. It's like can go crossbody, and the strap is adjustable to how high you want to tie it or anything, or you can take it completely off. It comes on the key rings. So if you want to see how to make this, hit that thumbs up button, subscribe, and let's get to sewing! So to begin, I have my pattern paper right here, measures 8 by 5 inches, and I already have pre-cut all my materials. I have two of the outer pieces, two liner pieces, two batting pieces, the checker for the pocket, the green for the ruffle, and that for the strap and the tabs. And all the measurements will be listed down below. And then I'm gonna do my quilted pattern. You can just do whatever you like. I just drew 1/4 inch lines, or 3/4 of an inch lines, sorry. And then I clip those on, and I sew on the quilted pattern. Like I said, you choose however you want to quilt it, or even if you do want to quilt it, it is not necessary. After quilting, I do cut off the excess of the batting because one, your fabric always shrinks when you quilt it, just so you know, and your batting's always going to stick out. And then I iron off those heat erasable lines that I drew on. Now it's time to make the pocket. So I iron down about 1/4 inch on every side like that. Just fold it in and iron it. And then I just sew a line on the top of the pocket, make a top stitch before I attach the pocket to the lining. Then on the pretty side of the lining, you want to attach your pocket, decide where you want it to be, pin it down, and then sew it down on top with 3 of the edges. Don't sew where you did the top stitch already, just the 2 sides and the bottom piece. You just do a straight stitch and attach the pocket to the lining. After I'm done with that, I set that aside for now, and I do my ruffle piece. So I'm gonna do this green. I fold it in half. It's about 2.5 inches wide, and I fold it in half, and I just sew all along, making sure that your tension is set to about a 5 or a 6, and your thread length is on the 4. And then you scrunch it together. You just pull the strings carefully and move the scrunch towards the middle, and just do that until it's to your liking of the whole strap for the ruffle piece. After having your ruffle all scrunched up to the way you like it, get it, and the ends, I like to fold them in. I don't stitch them together, but I do just fold them in, and then I clip the ruffle all around, kind of moving it around to make sure that the ruffling is about the same everywhere. So I just clip that with clips. Then you just do a straight stitch on the 3 edges to sew down the ruffle, and just make sure that you don't forget to switch your stitching back to normal, with the tension being, between a 3 and a 4, and your stitch length between 2.5. And then you get your liner, and pretty side down, you put it towards your outer pieces and just do a straight stitch across the top to attach it, just like that. Just make sure everything is basically, with sewing, you work everything inside out. So you're attaching that pretty side down, so pretty side to pretty side on both pieces. And then you will flip it over and do a top stitch to attach it and make sure that it doesn't move around on the other side, and gives that finished edge. After sewing on the top stitch, you'll put the two sides that you have pretty side to pretty side. So the inside should be on the outside and the outside on the inside, if that makes sense. And you clip them together and use as many clips as you'd like. First, I like to line up where my top stitch edges are and then go from there. And just clip everything. And in the liner though, make sure that you leave about a 2 to a 1.5 inch gap when stitching so you can turn your project right side out. So I do that at the bottom right there where I showed you. I set that aside for now and I begin working on my strap and my tabs because I did forget I needed to do those before I stitch all around to stitch up the whole bag thing. And so for the strap, first I fold it in half and iron it, and then I open it, fold those halves out, iron them down, fold them into half, and then fold it in half again. If that doesn't make sense, just watch and you'll get it. So half, then in, and then half. Yeah, that probably doesn't make sense. But if you watch it, as I said, you will get it. And to sew the strap, I just do a top stitch along both sides. So first I do it on the side that is open, and then just do a top stitch on this other side, and it gives you two little lines and makes the strap look all finished and secure. And I made the strap longer on purpose so I could cut off two pieces for the tabs. The tabs will be to attach your strap, and you insert them just like that as you see on the video. You fold it in half and then put the loop inside and clip it on, and then you'll just sew over it, and then you proceed to sew over the whole bag. And as I mentioned, don't forget to leave about a 2 to a 1.5 inch gap so you can turn your project right side out. After all that is stitched together, I first cut off any excess that I have of the tabs, and then the corners, you want to cut them at an angle so they pop out better and it's a corner and not bunched up in there. And then I cut anything extra off, and then I get my scepters and I turn the project right side out. It is much easier with them, but you definitely don't need them. You can just use your fingers, and I just use those to start it off, and then I just go in it with my hands. It does take a minute, but just be patient and nothing will rip. If you want to leave a bigger gap, you're more than welcome to, and it'll be a lot faster, but you'll just have to sew a bigger gap, which is not a big deal. But poke out all the corners, so before you sew everything up, make sure everything's poked out nicely and the edges are all nice. And this is where you check to make sure everything is together, because once you sew that lining up, it's going to be a lot harder to take it apart and get it all turned backside out and all that kind of stuff. So make sure everything is good before you sew that lining up. And then all you have to do is just attach your strap, attach your key rings, and then attach the strap to the key rings, and just sew little lines across where you're attaching it to the key rings, so you make a loop that can go into the key ring, and your project will be done. And here again is the finished piece. Fits your phone and your cards or whatever else, your lip gloss or whatever else you want to maybe put in there. Perfect to take to the park or anything like that. But before this video ends, I did just want to say a big thank you for taking the time to watch this video, and I do hope the tutorial was helpful for you. If it was, please consider liking, subscribing, sharing, commenting, and all that good stuff that helps me out. I would really much appreciate it, and I hope to see you again next time for another tutorial. Bye bye!